Stony, the road we trod, across the sands of time, through turbulent waves, from the bellies of beasts to underground railroads, migration, from Selma bridges to Darfur highways, from streets where we march to beats that move us, from the fire of protest to the fire of celebration, of carnival, of Junkanoo, of festival, anting anting. If we can't walk, we run. If we can't run, we fly. We make a way to make our way. From hashtags to hand drums, from live streams to living rooms, from Lego streets to London blocks, to every corner we claim as home. Every step, a link. Every link, a lifeline. Everywhere we go, there we are, as we've always been.
You ought to say it with your chest. Good afternoon, everyone. There we go. Welcome to the African Diaspora Art Museum of Atlanta, also known as ADAMA. My name is Dr. Fahamu Paku, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you here on this beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Y'all give it up for God. Showing off right now. She's showing off. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the 73rd edition of the ADAMA Arts Salon. Yes, 73. That's a big number. We are really pleased to be here today and to celebrate the creative gifts and talent of these young folks who are, for many of them, exhibiting their work professionally for the first time. And so that is no small feat, and they deserve a big round of applause. Y'all do know I said a big round of applause, right? Yeah. The ADAMA Arts Salon is a conversation series featuring contemporary artists, curators, scholars, and cultural practitioners from across the African diaspora. And through these gatherings, we create space for critical dialogue, creative exchange, and meaningful community connection. We host the ADAMA Arts Salon here at Pittsburgh Yards alongside exhibitions and other creative projects throughout the year. We're also pleased to share that the Youth Artist Program student exhibition, which is currently on view today and through the end of next week. So if you haven't had a chance today, please make sure to check it out before you leave, and then come back later this week and bring a friend or two. This exhibition, the Westlake High School Youth Artist Program, is presented by the school's IB and AP art students. This exhibition showcases the creativity, professionalism, and passion of Atlanta's rising young artists. From bold visual pieces to thoughtful storytelling, each work is a glimpse into the future of the arts. The Youth Artist Program exists to provide access, opportunity, and a platform for young creators to truly dream. And all of this is a part of the brainchild of one of my very good friends and a fantastic educator who has dedicated his craft and his career to molding the minds of these young, gifted folks. Y'all give it up for Mr. George Galbreath. George Galbreath is an Atlanta-based artist, educator, and arts advocate. Over more than 2 decades of teaching visual art in Fulton County Schools, he has maintained an active studio practice while mentoring the next generation of artists at Westlake High School in Atlanta. His work was most recently featured in a 2025 group exhibition presented by the Creators Project at the Goat Farm in Atlanta, and he's preparing for his 4th solo exhibition planned for 2027. All right, G. George is the co-founder, along with his wife, Asohe, of Art for ATL and the nonprofit Youth Artist Program. Initiatives dedicated to supporting youth and emerging artists and cultivating new collectors within Atlanta's creative community. He is also the co-author of the Galbreath Collection, A Decade of Collecting Atlanta, documenting the extensive contemporary art collection he and his wife have built in support of local artists. Now I will hand it over to George for the conversation to begin, and I should note that today is going to be a 2-part conversation. So we'll begin with a conversation with some of George's current students, and then we'll hear from some of George's former students who are now practicing professional artists in their own right. So once again, George Galbreath and the students from Westlake High School.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited about these young people beside me here, and very excited to talk to our former young people, not so young anymore, here momentarily. But I guess instead of a traditional introduction, one, I do want to know your names. Everybody was curious about that, and your grade level. But can you also tell us why you appreciate being an art student at Westlake High School? We will start with Kevin.
Hi, y'all. My name is Kevin. I go to Westlake. I'm a junior. Being an art student, I think being an art student expanded my use of materials in art and my thought process on art and stuff. Because before I was ever in IB, I used to only think I was good at sketching and stuff like that. And throughout IB class, he taught me how to use paint and color pastel and how to blend. And that means a lot to me, because if that didn't happen, I don't think I would have ever even got here, to be honest. That's perfect. And my thought process on art, I think, because before I was only into colors and how it looks. I never thought about how deep the meaning art can have. And it was the first art program I ever went to. I remember I wore my little, what's it called? The little fancy France hat. I forgot what it was called. Beret. Beret, yes, thank you.
So as you can see, Kevin is my fashion resource for the class. And yeah, I never do match up to him, but we'll move on to Zoe and then we'll come back.
Okay, good.
Because we got some other things to talk about. All right, Zoe, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Zoe Nelson. I'm a senior at Westlake High School. One thing that I do believe is the best thing about being an art student is it's definitely helped me reach different communities. I started drawing anime and sketches with my brother when I was a little child. And seeing myself grow now that I'm 18, I started when I was maybe 10, 11. It just showed me, and it's opened these doors to different people and personalities, and it helped me expand more so within my friend groups, because I'm friends with mostly artists. And seeing their art and their different materials they use have helped me with my creativity. And I always say that art is definitely a big family, because there's so many different branches within it that help you as an artist become the best you can be. So community is why I think is the best part of it.
Thank you. Victoria?
Hello, my name is Victoria Harris. I'm a junior at Westlake High School. And my favorite part about being an art student is just the creativity. I've grown so much as an artist because of the different types of art I've been able to experience. At Westlake, I've done photography, theater, graphic design, and even traditional art. And I feel like it opens the doors to many different paths you can take in life. I've learned so many different jobs you can have as an artist, and it's just motivated me to continue.
I love that. I appreciate that. See, y'all sound like y'all have it together way more than I did at your age. So if you do hear a reference to IB, a lot of us are familiar with AP, which is Advanced Placement, which Westlake does have. But we also have an IB program, which is now we're IB Global School, which is a big deal. But that stands for International Baccalaureate. So we have quite a few other options for students, and they can take those credits and go overseas to actually utilize those credits at colleges beforehand, hopefully save them some money. All right. So Kevin, actually for you. Okay, so one, you're all multifaceted, multi-talented. You could go into any field that you want. But regardless of what you do with your talents and understanding of the world. Like, I am curious, where do you see art fitting into your life as an adult, like in the future?
In the future, I would like to use my sketching skills to better like show my fashion designs and ideas creatively.
That's it.
Thank you.
Let it out.
All right. My goal is to like also create my own fashion brand. And nowadays when people think fashion brand, like it's like just some regular sweatpants or whatever, but no, I'm trying to like create like a whole look and mindset and a whole vibe. Like, you know what I'm saying? The brand will also be a combination of like retro grunge and like edgy type streetwear. An example of that could be on my Instagram.
You better put it on for yourself. Okay, go ahead. What would be your Instagram?
At KEVALYNIA. Thank you.
Okay.
Next, after high school, I want to be accepted into a college or university with a fashion design program so I can learn textiles and sewing and learning how to market my stuff. And yeah.
That's excellent. Okay.
Thank you.
Like, I feel like I'm be the most swagged out 50-something-year-old with your mindset. You know, I appreciate that.
I also want to be like a stylist.
Okay. No, that all fits together.
And a model.
You're going to be busy.
I'll do so much stuff.
So, one of the things that I fell in love with about Westlake over 2 decades ago is how the community pours in to that school. Like, it's literally insulated. Like, there's this community around it, and everyone gives back. But we've worked with Tri-Cities High School. We worked with Sandtown Middle, Langston Hughes. But we keep coming back to Westlake, and you all keep showing up in a different way. Zoe, in your opinion, like, what makes Westlake and that community so strong in the creative world and creative industry?
I feel like Westlake definitely breeds this generation of students that are not afraid to really show their true selves. Just like Kevin, for example, you know, how artistic and stylish he is. You see a lot of that at Westlake, or you see people who want to be like that. And I feel like the most important thing that makes Westlake so unique is definitely the teachers. The teachers is where it all starts, and that's why
Thank you. You get an A, okay?
But that's honestly why I want to be a teacher. I love how most teachers at Westlake, they give this space in their classrooms that help students feel comfortable to express themselves. And I feel like all schools can do this, but Westlake, for me, in my 4 years of experience there, it definitely succeeds the most because teachers are able to kind of make a home for their students. If they're not feeling home where they live or outside of school, it feels more like you're hanging out with an old friend or a family member. Like, I honestly always find myself comparing my teachers or teachers that I fondly think of to parental figures or cousins, family members, uncles. So I feel like that's where Westlake differentiates from different other schools.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Okay, that's good to know. Maybe that's why I fell in love with it too, the teachers and the students. No, I really appreciate y'all more than anybody I work with. So Victoria, one of the things that I find so fascinating about you is, like, you know, you're pretty quiet most of the time, right? But your work ethic is crazy. Like, I'll look up and you'll create 2 projects for every one project that everyone else does, right? And then when I found out that you're on the High Teen Academy, and this is like a highly competitive like program to get into. I mean, there's only like, what, how many of you, 15?
15.
Yeah, 15 students, and I can only imagine they get applications from all over, right?
Mm-hmm.
given that experience and given what you, I guess, like, try to focus on with your artistry, can you tell us a little bit about, like, how you develop your subject matter, where your ideas come from, and maybe even reference one of the pieces that you have up in the display?
Personally, when I make my art, it's kind of just a feeling. Like, I kind of just start with something that I really like, and I see where it takes me. Before, like, really getting into art, I only sketched with, like, paper, pen. Like, I wasn't that creative of an artist. But once I started stepping out of my comfort zone using paint and oil pastels, that's kind of like where my art style started to develop. And it pushed me to try different art forms. That's how I ended up in the Teen Academy for the High Museum. It was mainly because of my, like, I wouldn't say use, but because I was a part of theater at Westlake as well. Like, I didn't only have just one art experience under my belt. And if I reference an art piece that I have in there, I would reference my Don't Pick Up art piece. That was
beautiful.
It was definitely an art piece. It went through a lot of forms. I didn't like it at first, but overall, I think it kind of explains, like, a bigger meaning of just drama in a space. Like, because I feel like anywhere you go, there's drama. And and I just felt like I needed a piece to explain what I was going through in high school. And using red and using a whole bunch of different figures really just brought out the color that I needed that piece to have.
And Don't Pick Up is about what? Other than drama?
I feel like Don't Pick Up, it's kind of more conversational because telephones have become, like, a bigger thing now. I showed, like, different ones over the course of time. Like, I had the dial-up, I had the Nokia, you know. And I think just the use of telephones, and I feel like because everything is so digital now, like, word travels faster, and that also adds to drama. It's just a big part of our everyday lives now.
You were like the poster child for Stay Out the Way, and I like that. That is like that's how you get through life. Okay, like, well, yeah, I appreciate it. So Zoe, you have the most provocative work I've seen out of a teenager in probably a decade. Can you tell us about the piece that resonates with you the most in the show that you've done?
The piece that resonates with me most, I would love to say that it is my self-portrait. I don't know if you've seen it. It's 3 versions of me, and it has this red background. That resonates with me personally because it's about me, of course, but also it shows, well, to get the layout of it, it is about depression because I struggle with depression very often. And originally it was supposed to be like Medusa hair, but I feel like me and Medusa's story, because Medusa's story is just like, it's this immediate thing you see, you know what they're talking about, or you know what they've been through. I don't think depression is like that. I think depression can be hidden most of the times. And having Medusa's hair on my painting, it just like gave me this red flag. Oh, this is what I've been through. Look at me. No. Depression for me is like this shadow. That's what the red represents in the painting. It's a shadow. And not often you're going to see me in my depressive states because I call them highs and lows. And my lows are very bad. But even when I'm in my lows, you won't be able to tell. So that's why that one resonates with me most. But I feel like the one that's most provocative, as you said, is definitely my KKK one. So the funny thing is, I didn't mean to have such a political standpoint in my art. That was not the original intent. When I first made the painting, I was on TikTok, I believe, and it was this poster of war propaganda where Trump is the KKK and he was being hanged. And I thought that was so interesting because oftentimes I have these conversations with my history teacher, and he does say Trump is like the KKK or the head leader of it. I forgot what they're called, but oh, the Grand Master. Yes, sorry. But I wanted to incorporate the KKK in my painting, and so I just drew them. I sketched them. Originally, it was going to be this little girl, and she was going to be in the middle of a circle of KKK members, but I couldn't sketch it like that, so I threw that idea away. But it turned into something much more deeper. The KKK being hanged is like breaking the generational curses we have that our ancestors were not able to do. It gave more hatred when I was doing it. I was very upset doing it, of course. But that's kind of where it's been stemming from. It stems from hatred. And that's why them being hanged instead of them hanging us resonated with me so much when I did it. And the little girl, it was originally supposed to be a detailed sketch of a girl. But in my class, we were doing collages, and I was like, okay, I can use this. And so when I was talking to Mr. G about it, I showed him the rough draft of it, and he said this could be interpreted 2 different ways. It can be a little black girl who's looking at her oppressors hang, or it can be a little white girl who's watching people who, in her sense, are doing such harmful things to people who she doesn't believe should be doing it. So it can be interpreted 2 different ways. In the collage on the background, I wanted to incorporate her standing on all these things that have oppressed her. So, and another little detail that I originally was going to do is I was going to have the little girl have scissors, because I wanted the audience to know that she's aware of what she's doing. She knows what she's doing, and she doesn't want to help them. But I took that away because I want them to understand that although this hatred breeds something so much more deeper far in our history, there is innocence in it. And these people who are being destroyed by all of this hatred doesn't honestly sometimes know what's going on. So that's why there's that teddy bear, to incorporate her innocence and what's happening.
And I love that choice of the silhouette. You did a really great job with that. And the title, just hanging around. That was, it was a lot. It was a lot. So we only have a couple more minutes, very quickly. We want to know, what is going on in the mind of a teen in 2026? So 1, what do you need from us? Like, we're all listening, okay? And then 2, what are you concerned about? You don't have to explain it, but just, give us something to focus on, please. Kevin.
All right. This is a very emotional topic. All right. I think students like me need society to better educate themselves on teen depression. I don't think adults understand why teens would be depressed nowadays, because adults are like, quote unquote, new to teen depression due to the fact that when they were younger, they stuck to the topic of just surviving off nothing. For example, this adult was informed his son was like depressed. He was confused because he was provided all the things, like a house, food, sleep. little did he know, like, depression comes in many ways. Not just the act of not having things. It can come from being stressed out about sports, being a student, survivor of bullying, savvy on Survivor. Or all at the same time. I think there should be more like, with that being said, I just think there should be more awareness on teen depression. Like, check up on your son, your daughter, anybody, because you'll never know.
Hey. Whew, okay, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. No, for real. Thank you. Yeah. Please.
I definitely agree with Kevin when he speaks about teen depression. I feel like there should be a lot of more open-minded conversations between the young generation and the older, because, like I said, I struggle from depression. I still do. I feel like depression is almost seen as like this taboo between the older generation and the younger. Like he said before, older generations might think that if you have everything you need, your necessity, you should be depressed. But I feel like that also stems something much deeper, like how you've been raised. You've been raised to just have to make it through and not focus on these things that might affect you. And I feel like that's a topic we can talk about. I can talk about it for hours, but we don't have time for that. But what I think teenagers need most at this current time is just patience. Patience and, like he said, just sit down and have conversations with your children, because I never want, speaking from experience of having friends who are affected by this, I never want you to be older and not have a relationship with your children. It happens so often in our community, and I feel like it's rotting us. So definitely check up on your family, check up on your siblings, check up on definitely your younger generation. And like I said, depression is not always going to be easy to see. So you need to have these conversations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Victoria?
Yes. I feel like bouncing off of them, I feel like it really is just support. Like, family members, friends, they can be there, but sometimes they're just not really present with your artwork, with your creation. And I feel like, in general, we need more people who want to, instead of support just your granddaughter, your sister, but I feel like you should support artists in general. And we don't really see that often. Like, even at art shows, majority of people is family. But I just feel like as a bigger community, what we should do is just be present.
The students have become the teachers. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you sharing. Good job. Good job. Is this cool? Okay. Lamar Bailey. I am here with Piera Moore, and just some years back, y'all were more or less in that seat. Like, y'all were at Westlake High School, and I appreciate y'all coming back and joining us today. So just so we know who we're sitting beside, can you tell us a little bit about like your practice, what you do, so that folks know how to recognize your work? Yeah.
My name is Lamar Bailey. I'm a mixed media artist, native to Atlanta. I've been doing this professionally for 3 going on 4 years, and I'm grateful to be here.
Appreciate that.
And I'm Piera Moore. I am a photographer that went to Spelman College for art, and I'm born and based here in Atlanta, working primarily with film.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So, like I said before, y'all were literally like in them Westlake hallways, not like, like you blink your eyes and you grown, right? And blink again, you'll be old, okay? But what I am wondering and curious about, just for the sake of this conversation, is how did high school even start to prepare you for where you are now? Like, what were you dealing with or focused on that you now have built on literally since that time?
It gave me the foundation. The technical part of it, you still had to learn outside of high school your vision, your voice of what you want to create, but high school gives you that thing you can always look back towards. Like, I always go back towards you and Kevin's Cole class, what I need to do, how do I present my work, how do I present myself to even talk about my work. I always go back to those lessons. So, yeah.
I remember after graduation, you used to come back, and I'm like, man, why is he coming back? what what is he doing? But you would literally set up an easel and like continue that work. Yeah, so no, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah, Piera?
I think being in your class, being at Westlake, there was a lot of exposure to different styles of art, different mediums. Before I even picked up a camera, I got to try the darkroom at Westlake, and even just that experience was extremely beneficial for me.
And what about your experience at Spelman? Because I think there's some folks in this room that you engaged with
Yes.
at that point too.
Dr. Fahamu was one of my professors at Spelman. I'm not sure if she's here, but Charmaine Minifield was another one of my professors. And so in staying in Atlanta, those professors and mentors kind of followed me throughout my career so far.
Yeah, no, I love that because one of the things I used to tell folks all the time, so when Kevin Cole hired me, yeah, literally over 2 decades ago, I used to say, man, do you realize this man don't have to teach? Like, he's sitting here with a $200,000 commission. I'm sorry, but you, okay, my bad. I thought that was public record. All right, but from the airport. And yeah, he's sitting here teaching teens and pouring into them. Okay, I'm not supposed to mention numbers. Sorry. Okay, just forget I said that. Okay, so I am curious. You know, we've seen you come a long way, seen your work evolve, but what's your like 5-year plan? Like, where do you even see yourself in 5 years in terms of your artistry?
Just being consistent, like working on my storytelling, on basically representing the Black community, pouring back into the community, just like my mentors did me. You know, big or small. I think just learning the business part of art too within those 5 years to better me. Yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Yeah.
You gonna stay in Atlanta?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's home.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
home.
I got you. Okay. Piera?
Similar to Lamar, just building on that practice. I'm planning to go back to school and to help further my education as well as art practice. And it would be nice to maybe engage more with some of the galleries around the city as well, exhibit a little bit. But yeah.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so I like that you both seem to be interested in paying it forward and like pouring back into the community to pour it into you. Okay, I love that. I appreciate that. So me and my right hand, George Galbreath, not only did we co-found the Youth Artist Program, which both of you engaged with tremendously and now, of course, help out with and support, but we also had the SOA Solutions, which is our umbrella company, providing tax preparation, financial literacy. Gosh, the list goes on and on because even with Saturday School, which was a day-long program, an in-service of sorts, teaching artists about various different facets of the profession of art, and the collector soiree. I mean, we do a lot, right? Because but what I am curious about with your current age group, with your kind of emerging artist selves, what is it that you need at this point in your career? Like, how can SOA Solutions kind of help and continue to support your next steps? Actually, I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay.
Piera, go first.
So we were talking a little about this before, and I think that with Sohei Solutions, y'all have created this beautiful bridge of intergenerational artists, and just personally, I'd love to continue being a part of that bridge, whether it's as a mentor, as a continued mentee of you all, and really just building on that community. Sometimes I personally go into a bit of a bubble as an artist, and so when I do engage with y'all, it really does help me to have certain conversations and to just grow in my own artistry. So I think just continuing on that and, yeah, doing the work that y'all are doing is, yeah.
Lamar?
So first, let's give a shout out to y'all.
Thank you. We'll take that.
I think being an emerging artist, y'all basically created that space where I didn't have to stumble and trying to find my way. Y'all gave me a platform where I can talk to collectors, talk to people that's in the arts. Like, no matter what career stage they in, they were able to critique my work. They was able to, just guide me to become the man that I am. And I feel like, you know, I know you could probably give more information about that, because I think 2 years ago, y'all was helping me with grant writing, and I was just like stumbling. Hey, what did I do, G? Like that's, and
We're all stumbling with grant writing. Trust me, it's a lot.
So, but y'all give that space, that openness to be like, hey, I know it's needed. So y'all will go on social media and be like, hey, if y'all need this, y'all can always reach out, and I respect that.
So one of the things that I think both of you have, delved into is curation at this point, right? Like, so with Artful ATL, one of the things that we do try to pride ourselves on when working with emerging artists is they hang their own work. Like, you know, like some people skip that step and they don't get an opportunity to like curate their own space. They wait on a gallerist to do that. How is that, and displaying in our group shows, prepared you for, I guess, like any experiences that you had now?
Well, funny enough, so my first install experience was helping you all out and volunteering as a teenager when you used to exhibit at the first Mason Fine Art on Armour Drive. And little did I know that would eventually lead to the path of me working there for a few years after I graduated from college. And so my very first experience installing, you know, seeing artists like curating their spaces as part of your exhibitions, that really set a foundation for me to even realize why it's important to select certain colors of frames, or to organize your work in a certain way, or gallery versus salon setup. And so having that experience so early on really kind of put me ahead a bit. Even when I got to college, I was like, when we were setting where our senior thesis exhibition was going to be, I was like, I think we should have it at Mason Fine Art, because I had experience, you know, helping you all out there.
You were like, I've been here, done this. I like that, you know, even though like whenever I run into a student that already knows what I taught them, I feel like they're being like rude. I'm like, listen, just learn, just sit and learn. But no, I'm glad that you taught somebody something. I'm sure you did. What about you, Lamar?
So I think it's going off for 5+ years. I started in the background of helping other artists hang their work, how they place their work, and you know, I think preparing them to even be displayed on their wall. And I feel like that kind of molded me to actually see what I need to do. If I need to work small, do I need to go big in these spaces? Like actually give me those, you know, those skills to actually see how can I work this wall to better suit me, and that kind of helped.
Okay. No, and I mean literally probably thousands of pieces later, because you've been hanging a lot. I am interested, especially since we have the other generation of artists in the room. What advice or ideas or just like message would you have for them pushing forward?
Don't seek validation too early.
I'm sorry, can you say that
again? Don't seek validation too early. Explore the topic that you're trying to do. Experiment with it. That's how I stumbled upon what I'm doing now. Because at first I was painting. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this portrait. Hey, y'all like it? But once I had that sit down, it was like, you know, I see this. I already saw this. And I had to take a step back, you know, get a beverage. And, you know, I noticed my surroundings, and I was just like, hey, okay, this is different. So I started, I went the mixed media route. And I feel like once you create a body of work, then you'll be able to display it and get the feedback that you want. Also, I think find mentors. Like, they're able to guide you in so many places that you can't do it on your own. Like, literally, I think Hey Solutions, Kevin Cole for Hamu, like, I have these people where, say if I'm lost or I need help with a contract for the first time. Hey, what does this mean? They're able to be like, hey, I don't think you should, you know. So I think mentors are a necessity when you're trying to become a professional artist. Yeah.
And some of you out there got 2 mentors up here ready to go.
Yeah.
Like next generation of mentors. All right, Piera, what advice would you have?
In addition to everything that Lamar said, I would say really develop your intuition and discernment, and that's both creatively and in terms of your business. I think it's really important to be able to feel things out and to know that you have a gut feeling that you can turn to when things do get a little confusing. And then on top of that, whatever your interests are, dig deep into them, become really close to them, let them be your best friend, and allow yourself to build on that to create some work that becomes really meaningful for you.
I love that. So before we get into Q&A, we're sitting here at ADAMA, African Diaspora Art Museum of Atlanta. I've been learning a lot about like developing my lens for the African diaspora and where artistry fits into that. What do you feel like you want to see out of ADAMA as it relates to your community here in Atlanta and your generation? Like, what would you want from ADAMA going forward?
Well, one thing that I think about, and this is obviously something that's already being done and being developed on, I'm excited to see more people from the city discover ADAMA. I used to live maybe like 90 seconds down the street in Pittsburgh.
90 seconds?
Yeah.
You lived on the Beltline.
Yeah, the walking distance down Smith Street. And I think about like some of the kids that we would see outside during the summer, and I wonder, have they, had a chance to come over here yet? And, sometimes like how we were just saying, that exposure early on can make a world of a difference. So I'm just looking forward to more people in the community discovering this amazing space and engaging with it.
Spreading the word, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Lamar?
Just to piggyback off that, just the consistency. Like, I was able to discover other artists that I didn't even know was out here. Like, I think it was an artist from New Orleans that did beadwork, and that just blew me. But they create these spaces where they basically bring in other artists from around the nation and bring it here. And it gives you that inspiration. It gives you that, like, oh, I can do this. So all I say, they continue to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, very nice. So we will open it up briefly for Q&A. If anyone has any questions of these emerging artists up here.
Thank you, George, Lamar, and Piera. And for both Lamar and Piera, I was just wondering what things you have coming up where we might be able to see or experience your work in artistry.
I just did a fair not too long ago, but I think I have some at Peter Street Station, or Nina Gallery, I believe.
Nina Baldwin Gallery?
Yeah.
Yep, on Peter Street.
Yeah, I can check that out. I'm slowly trying to do other fairs across the nation just to add to my CV. And also, I believe I'm working on a few projects I can't talk about right now because
Okay. All right,
yeah.
keep it in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you. What's your, or like, how can people find you online?
Social media at Man-Made Art on Instagram. I think it shows what I'm capable of. I'm still trying to explore different techniques and mediums. So hopefully I can, get more collectors in the audience. Yeah.
Thank you for that. All right. Piera?
I am honestly in a bit of a quiet period these days and revisiting some projects, replanning for some projects, applying for grants. And so a lot of what I've been doing has just been kind of building on that. I have been writing a little bit, like everybody else. I've been on Substack. And yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Did you say everybody else?
Or let me not say everybody else.
What is that? Okay.
So it is a newsletter/blog platform, but it can really kind of be whatever you want it to be. I write a lot about photo, Black culture, spirituality, the human condition, everything else going on in this world. So yeah.
Okay. Can we read that?
Yes.
How do we find that?
So it's my name, Piera Moore, PIERAMOORE.substack.com, and then my website is pieramore.com.
Very cool. Renaissance.
Hello. Hi. Hey, Piera.
Hey, Maya.
Hey, I'm Maya Table. I'm a film director, and Piera has taken all of my director headshots for the last like 6 years. We've done like 4 different sets, and I always say that my headshots have to be taken by her because I love her tone, her eye, her artistry. Like my pictures look like an artist took them, and it's really important for me. So hearing you talk, I'm like, oh, this is where the background coming from, and even her taking a break. I love it for me because I'm like, she's going to come back more inspired from my headshots. So I want to know why that's important to you and why shooting on film is important to you as well.
Thank you, Maya. I am a person that believes in taking your time, and I think that the process of photographing on film invites you to take your time and be patient, and I don't even know exactly what the picture looks like until after I get it developed, but I know what the moment felt like, and like when we work together, you know, I really go based off of like that feeling of when I take the photo, I'm like, that's gonna be good. And so I think the same kind of just applies to my overall art practice. I think that I was getting to a point with social media, particularly Instagram, where I was like, this is giving me whiplash, and I'm going from one dark bit of news to like someone selling me something to something celebratory, and it was just getting to be a lot to where I was, for myself, I was like, let me slow down, and that felt like one of the easiest ways that I could slow down is to just kind of be intentional with where I was pouring my attention. So that's why I decided to kind of take this quiet period. Yeah.
Oh, that question was for you, wasn't it? Anyone else? Yep, please.
Lamar, you said something earlier about not seeking validation too early. It made me think of this question for both of you. But how has the reality of the art world shifted your perspective based on what you thought it might be before you got into your practice professionally?
I thought I had to create dedicating to this narrative. Like, I thought I would have to paint a we will have to overcome piece to basically, you know, represent us as a people. When I had to take a step back, and I was just like, what do I enjoy? What do we enjoy? And, you know, we kind of overlook the small moments, and that's where I kind of focused on in my pieces, like either holding your child or, you know, just, I think I created a piece not too long ago. It was a man holding both of his children in his lap, and it kind of made me appreciate what I have even more. So that's what I kind of, you know, that's why I said reason why I don't seek validation, because sometimes they will want you to paint this when honestly you don't necessarily have feelings in it. You just doing it for maybe a commission piece or something this. But once you actually do things you love, they see it in your art. So I think when I say don't seek validation too early, I want you to actually express everything and pour everything into that piece. Then display it, because most people will gravitate towards that piece that you thought was just, you know, just a regular piece to you. But then you display it, you have these collectors or you have these people that are like, I'm glad that you created this piece because it speaks to me. So that's why I say that.
I love that. Yeah. Piera?
I feel like for the industry that I work in, because it's photography, I'm sometimes at this intersection of the more attractive glitz and glamour area of commercial and editorial than photojournalism, which is almost a complete opposite spectrum sometimes, and then fine art. And with those three kind of points, there are different expectations for each, and I think in navigating between those realms, I've had to like come back to what does matter to me and like listen to that inner voice, and that is part of what has influenced my decision to go back to school too, because it's like we know what we're talking about as Black artists, but also as Black people, but to continue to further my language around why I know what I'm talking about and, you know, how that shows up in my work. That's kind of my response, I guess, to how the industry and this realm takes my work. But to only continue with my vision, like further, you know, with the path that I plan on going on. So, yeah.
Awesome.
I have a question for Kevin. Hey, Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. Thought you were done, Kevin.
You did.
No.
So when you're talking about fashion, you mentioned when you get to college, you want to start looking at doing textiles. One of my questions is, I don't know if you've thought about it as yet, when we think about fashion and sustainability and what textiles and all of that is looking like, hopefully, as we continue to move further, have you thought about sustainability with textiles and what you're trying to create? Also thinking about how do you try to maybe minimalize the waste of fashion?
Can we word that?
Of course I can. So when you're thinking about textiles, how do you, with how you envision your next evolution and what you want to do from creating not just art, because I think of fashion as art as well, do you think about it from a sustainable standpoint? What's happening in the fashion world now is the creation of sometimes just how textiles are created could be harmful. Also, the waste of fashion, trend moves very quickly. So when you think about developing or creating pieces, do you think about it from a sustainable standpoint, whether you're either reusing pieces that you have, do you look at maybe figuring out a way of creating a textile that's not harmful, or how are you envisioning, your thought of how you'd like to do that?
You can sit here. You can come up here. So y'all camera. So you can think about it. Yeah, So non-harmful materials. How are you going to do that? Because we're waiting on you to solve that problem too.
Like,
Did you see? Yep.
huh?
Reusing.
Okay. For examples, I just like cut tags off of like my shirts, like the little fabric tags, and the pants tags, and I cut the top of like pants, and like I like using them as belts. So I don't like have to buy any other belts. It's like saving money and stuff. And so also, so I don't gotta like buy no more shoes. I like to like use jeans I don't use anymore. I like to cut them up and like glue them on the shoe and stuff. And I just did some shoes like I just did like I just did like shoes like yesterday or 2 days ago, where I had a book I don't use no more, and I cut some pages off of that, and it was magazine, and I glued that on my little Uggs. I like glued the front and stuff, then I like painted around the top of the Ugg, and like stuff like that. Like, be creative. Stop buying stuff. God. Like, God.
Thank you for that, Kevin, because it sounds like you are not wasting anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did get nervous when he said he cut up a book, though.
It wasn't a good book, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was just a little magazine. Nobody care about magazines. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That's my son.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you guys. Piera, you graduated from Spelman. Lamar, I don't think I caught the college that you went to.
I was all over the place.
Okay, I was about to ask about college and art, and how important is the higher education journey to your creative journey. And you're free to disagree that it is a part of that journey. But if it is a part of that journey, how do you recommend? Because there's these art students here, and they're in that grade. They're in the 11th grade where this is the time. Where do you think they should look, and how should that journey look?
It depends on the practice, in my opinion. Since I was, I went to Atlanta Metro first, just trying to get my credits so I can transition to SCAD, because everybody wanted to go to SCAD. But if I actually took a step back, I could have went to Georgia State, Kennesaw, or, Howard, other institutes where they could have poured into me too, because SCAD is built like a business. And in business, you gotta come correct, because everybody can do the thing you can do too. That's in any institute too. But it's like that taught me where, okay, I gotta put my best foot forward. Even if you gotta cut, your sleep in half, or you gotta, just sacrifice your time where you have to. I gotta do this project, and that's what SCAD taught me. I think when I had talked about mentors, I feel like mentors do the same thing, because they already had this knowledge that they can pass down. They already, bump their head in the road of like, hey, I don't think you need to do this. I think you need to do this. They're literally there to point you to where you need to go. And sometimes you got to just be open, like be willing to, hey, let me go through this door and see where this takes me. Sometimes that door might put you somewhere else that you never thought you would be in, but now you're grateful to even go through that door. So when I say if you're going to go to college to network, learn what you can, but also get mentors in college or outside. And, just be open to the fact that you're new to this. So if you're new to this, treat it as such. I'm learning this just like everybody else. Let me, just figure this out. Give yourself grace. And when you do that, you kind of open that up to take pressure off of you, because everybody here has had that pressure of, I got to figure this out by tomorrow.
And Piera, you got the last word.
I agree. I think that for me, college was an amazing place to find my mentors, and I would almost suggest that when researching programs that y'all look up the professors and department heads at these schools, because those are the next potential mentors for your kids. And that could even be like the deal maker or deal breaker. If the program has these professors that can really be that resource or that mentor for you, then that might be, the program that you should strongly consider. So yeah, just to kind of piggyback.
Yes. We got 3 more questions? Okay.
Y'all are in demand
I try to be
today.
on time. Okay, all right. Yes.
First, I just want to say congratulations to everybody who's spoken so far, because y'all have been truly impressive. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and your wisdom with us. I'm curious, you all talked a little bit earlier about that bridge between commercial and creative, and I'm curious to know, practical advice from you about how to build a sustainable life as an artist. For instance, Piera, I know you've worked with an impressive roster of publications in your career thus far. So if you would talk a little bit about that and, how that interfaces with your creative work.
Thank you. A lot of it has been trial and error and casting a wide net. Since I was probably about 17, I set up a website for myself because I knew that ultimately I wanted a career in art, and people had to know how they could find me, how they could book me. So ever since I was 17, I realized that the internet was a place that a tool that I could really utilize to kind of cast that wide net and not restrict me by only local clients. Like I could get booked by someone that lives in a state and we've never met in person before. And so I think between doing that and also doing the curating for marketing myself the same way I would if I was exhibiting something. So I try to kind of put that best foot forward so that when I am, kind of sending out my portfolio or reaching out to photo editors or whoever is hiring photographers for whatever the project is, that they are getting the best of me, and that has allowed me to really kind of expand my network of clients and people I've worked with.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
You started it.
here. First, also congratulations to all of the speakers. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to go back to the question about higher education journeys. I'm curious if there is any consensus in the room about the BFA search versus journey versus the BA or college college experience. Particularly, George, in terms of Westlake, I gather, certainly based upon the wonderful exhibit of youth art, you've got quite a program going. Do your students tend to go one way versus the other? And if they do they come back and report on what their experience is that might inform the current students on exactly, or at least their thoughts on how they should proceed?
Well, the more successful they are, the less they come back. And I do find that means that they're very busy, and I'm proud of them and excited for them, and I get to read about them online. But I will say that Westlake is a college prep school, right? Like, when students leave that school, they're prepared for it, and that's probably based off of some of the certifications with diploma seals, and like they almost have majors now, right? But because of that, I do believe that they're more prepared for the workforce also. So if a student has already had an exhibit, the likelihood that they could come out and have an apprenticeship and work under an artist and learn from like a Kevin Cole, learn from a Dr. Paku, they can build a career off of that. And there are some students that choose to take a gap year, and then they look back and they say, okay, well, I'm ready to spend that SCAD money now, or I'm ready to spend that Spelman money now. And if their work is good enough, then they'll be able to get into those schools. But I do believe that since I've graduated, and since y'all graduated, and gone to school, like it's such a moneymaker now. So I don't know how I feel. I think every single student has to make their own mind up about whether or not they go to college. Yeah, it's just based off their journey. Yeah. Did y'all have any input on that?
To speak to the part about the BA versus BFA, I received a BA, and I feel like I'm now realizing the benefit of the F, which is a bit more of a rigorous practice. And it's funny, I was at a dinner with some other photographers, and one woman is currently getting her MFA, and she already had an MA, and she was saying the F is a big deal. That can, that can make or break what your check looks like. That can determine a lot of different things. And so I do think that the rigor that comes with that fine arts degree is something that becomes beneficial for a working artist in the long run.
Kevin?
As a high school art teacher, college professor, the MFA or the education is very, very important. A lot of your major black artists like Jacob Lawrence, Romeo Beard, I had the opportunity to meet them. The reason they were not able to get into a college position because they didn't have that MFA degree. Your highest paid artists right now, Kehinde Wiley, Kerry Walker, they all have their MFA degree. And I had the opportunity in going to historically black colleges. My professor started preparing me for that as a sophomore, because that's the meal ticket. Every commission that I have received have asked about my education, okay? And it's like a ticket. And what happens when in the past, a lot of black artists, they weren't able to get those commissions or show into or have a show at the Metropolitan because they were looking at that MFA degree. That degree is very, very important because it says that you have perseverance on something, and it teaches problem solving. So education is very, very, very important, I think. And when you look at the artists who are getting paid, they have that degree.
And I do have my BFA from Howard, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. Bison. All right.
Well, first of all, Thank you all for joining us on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday afternoon. You could have been outside, but you were inside with us, and we appreciate it. All the smiles, all the attention, all of the intention is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much to our Westlake High School current students. The exhibit is amazing, and if you've checked it out once, I encourage you to go back and check it out again. All of the work is for sale. You will notice that about 15 of the pieces have already been sold, but we would love for the artists to sell some more. So please support, because as Victoria told us, our support means the world. Thank you to ADAMA for hosting us. So for the past 3 years, ADAMA has hosted the Youth Artist Program. I am a founding board member of ADAMA, and it is one of my greatest obligations I've ever had to date, and I look forward to the continued work. So please come out and support ADAMA in all ways, through your time, if you're willing to volunteer, through your talents, if you have something to offer, but also you can always donate. So we are able to bring programming like this to Pittsburgh Yards and the community through your donations. But I want to give a special shout out to both Lamar and Piera. I'm sorry. I've seen the journey for both of them, and I couldn't be more blessed to be married to an artist educator like George. And so back in 2013, I think, he was a little frustrated from the portfolio submissions for the governor's arts program, things that he was seeing in his AP classes he was teaching. And he said, these kids have the talent, and I just wish they had more exposure. So you give me a problem, and as an engineer, I try to come up with a solution. I said, what are we gonna do? And so the Youth Artist Program was born from that conversation. And for the past 12 years, we've been taking students to the High Museum, to Spelman, to Clark, to ADAMA, to Mason Fine Art. Piera mentioned hanging as a high school art student. The high school art students would come out and help us at Articulate and Artful ATL. And without George calling out what that issue was, it wouldn't be a thing. Lamar has hung 50% of the Galbreath collection. And so he's helped us curate that space. And to see him, he is the lead installer for ADAMA at this point. But we are also proud to have 3 pieces of his work in our collection, and to see Piera in internationally recognized magazines like with her work. It has been, she was my first intern for Sohei Solutions. She's the best one I've had to date. I don't say that lightly. And so just to watch this journey, but to watch this next generation of students, I look forward to all they have to offer us, because our world is a better place because of them. So again, thank you to ADAMA, thank you to the parents, thank you to the students, thank you, George, for being an amazing husband, educator, and artist. And thank you, Piera and Lamar, for showing us the way and showing us all that is possible for the past decade. Thank you, guys.